Hey, good morning, Chris from Bid Beaks Social Club. It's been a long time since I did a coffee with Chris or a rant. It's where I give my ideas or what I'm going through. It's basically my journal to myself and my little beaks. So I did catch a little burnout. It is the holidays. I finally got sick. I think my little beak got me sick or someone at work. And it's also probably the lack of sleep. Um, if you are stressed in the holidays or lack of sleep like I was, I recommend you get some sleep. Um, Remember, it's an infinite game. Whatever you're doing, it's an infinite game. There's no rush. There's no rush in anything that you have to do, especially some of the dudes that I've been talking to about stuff that they're doing. Um, don't feel overwhelmed if you started something new in 2023. Remember, you still got 2024, 2025 to strategically get you to that place, that goal, that destiny, that peak that you have created in your subconscious or your mind. This is a little more of me on a serious note versus the funnies or the singing, the dancing. I guess I could do that, but I think today I just do the coffee. I got a lot of things I got to actually do in the real world. So I was talking to someone that was telling me, hey, I'm a little depressed. What do you do when you're depressed and down because it seems like you're happy? I tell people I don't think happiness is a forever thing. It's something you work on or build to get to. And to keep that going, you got to constantly build on it. I can't create always ooh, I'm happy. Look at me. I'm happy. That's a facade. That's a fugazi is what I call it. That's a non-existing thing to always be happy. But I do some breathing exercises that I always recommend to people. Take about 15 minutes, go into your mind, and some people call it prayer, some people call it meditation. You got to find somewhere where there's balance. Like lately, I haven't been balanced. My wife has been telling me, look, man, you're doing a lot. Get grounded again, come back to reality, put those 2 chicken legs on the ground, touch grass. You got some shit to do besides drawing your little cartoons or your paintings. And I then have to search into my ego and say, man, she's probably fucking right. And so I was going to talk about a way I go into how do I find happiness without having to take either Xanax or some sort of drug that I used to take back when either I was depressed, an antidepressant, or when I had anxiety, doubt. And a lot of people don't realize there's other ways. I think back in 2000, I want to say 23, I was on a bunch of antidepressants because of the job that I was in. And then I continued to use them for a long period of time. It was one of the hardest things I kicked off. So then now I find finding other ways to calm down the monster, the beast, that inner demon that motherfuckers have inside them. And I go back to this 15-minute strategy. And I did it like a day ago where you take a notebook. If you don't have a notebook, you can take your phone and record the process of your breathing techniques, record the process of where you went inside your mind. What people don't realize, you have everything you need inside your mind already. There's ways of discovering things that either happened in your past where you had joy, where you had happiness, where you had these feelings that could then get you by in the present time. Remember, I go by Dr. Strange now, and some of the stuff might sound a little hippie-ish or silly. It works for me. It might not work for you. Also, fitness works for me. When you're depressed, anxious, and you have doubt, always go to fitness or some sort of walking, some way of finding healthy dopamine, not dopamine when you're scrolling up. I've been catching myself doing a little bit of that. I'm going to do a little pullback when I skip a season. So what you do is you go into a place. I'm going to give you an example to the place where I went that worked for me. I started using I get the notebook. I choose a word. Boom. The other day I said thankful. And then I went with childhood. So I went into my little breathing techniques after my workout and took myself to a place where I was happy, where I did have joy, where I did have this sense of the world was mine. And it was, I started writing about it. It's the Red Huffy. In the 90s, Christmas time, a lot of us got Red Huffies. Some people got BMXs because they were fucking cool, and I did not get a BMX. I got this fucking cool ass Red Huffy. All the stores had them, and my parents bought me this red fucking Huffy. And I go into that feeling and going back into that time period. And if you have the ability, you could even go back to smells, sounds, and relive that time period. Relive being on the bike. Relive all the places that you rode that bike. Not everyone can do it. It does take time. And if you do start doing it, I want to say the word is maybe transcend or meditate into a place that you once existed, where you then open doors somewhere in your cerebral cortex or some fucking, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert at it, but I know how to do it. I have the ability to be like, okay, this is my happy place. Okay, this is where I feel good. When the world is shitty, I have my own imagination where I could take myself and say, this is it. Now I'm going to go start my day, versus waking up. And I always talk about it, waking up and having these people that are just miserable. I got to go to work. Work sucks. My marriage sucks. This, that. If you do nothing to maintenance the inner peace in you, I always go with balance. Right now, I am unbalanced because I'm doing this. I'm trying to get one big idea that comes out with multiple subgroup ideas that leave me unbalanced, because it's a never-ending game, and it's a game that you see no results. So to do something that is bigger than yourself or bigger than one person's capable, you have to then find ways to stay grounded. And I ended up finding meditation, prayer, fitness. Fitness has been huge. I get told a lot, like, why do you do so much fitness now? It keeps me in check. It keeps me focused. Like today, I didn't do fitness because I'm sick, but tomorrow I'm going to do, like Wednesdays, I do something that is so extreme. So then it reminds me, hey, you're on a mission, dude. You're on a mission to be a better person. You're on a mission to self-improve. You're on a mission to help people. You're on a mission to create these cartoons or these communities or help other people or help people with mental health. and you want to create, you want to be funny. Somewhere along the line, before I started Bid Beaks, I just wasn't funny no more. Somewhere along the line, I lost who I was. And to then find yourself, you have to then create this human. I always tell people now, start creating the human that you want to be before you actually get there. And how I learned this is through books, is through others that have done it. Like, I don't want to listen to a buddy that hasn't done it. I'd rather listen to someone that has done it. Go to courses, whatever works for you, or you could just make it up as you go. This is a coffee Chris rant, something I used to do on either Telegram, Discord, or even Twitter. Now I'm doing it for myself on my YouTube channel and explaining the process of, hey, I'm building something, I'm creating something, it's complicated, and I'm journaling the process as it goes. And if you want to see it, you can see it. If you want to join, you can join. If you want to go fishing, let's do fishing. If you want to go get a free haircut, let's get a free haircut. If you want to make food together, let's make food together. If you want to go to a restaurant and podcast and I find out what you're selling or what you're doing, let's do it. If you don't, shut the TV off, shut the YouTube off, shut the Instagram off. I also get certain people that don't understand what I'm doing. And they're like, well, you have only one like. Okay, I feel good. And I recommend that for other people. If you feel good doing anything, continue to do that. If you feel good doing anything, you should continue to do that. Not because of others giving you self-gratification to do it, but because you want to do it and it gives you purpose, it gives you reason, it gives you some sort of will to continue on living a good life. And that's where I discovered art, music. I never really was big on, wow, man, maybe I can make music. Maybe I can make art. Even though I've always been an artist. I mean, I do all type of construction. So if you can consider making tiles or bathroom, that's an art form. If you consider cooking, that is an art form. And then on my rant here is seeing if I could pass it on to my children, the new lifestyle that I'm living. So that's my rant for today. That's Coffee with Chris. Don't rush the process on anything you decide to do. Don't get overwhelmed. If you do get overwhelmed, do skipping a season, do skipping a week from people. I always tell people you should always constantly reboot, reprogram, constantly change your settings to have a healthier lifestyle. Like, don't work out all the time where you live. Move the location. Don't always work out at the gym. Move the location. There's certain feelings in certain environments that you have to discover that on your own. I'm going to end up dropping more content at the end of the weekend because I love to do it. Not because I have something to prove. I have nothing to prove. And like always, stay safe. It is holiday season. And that's Chris from Bid Beaks Social Club on a Bid Beaks rant.